how are there peasant militia here? Well, the Vanguard unit on that side has basically been obliterated. Okay, well. All right, welcome back to the war. Now, it is actually the very next turn, and I guess I don't think we need to discuss too much of what's happening down here in the south. Unless I just realized this was happening. Kaer Andros is under siege still, and I think so is Osgiliath. I got messages to that effect. Hopefully these guys aren't thinking of doing anything too foolish, or if they do come north here, they do what that other force did and just kind of pass through the territory here to get to Mordor, rather than attacking my territory, but I guess we will see. I still haven't built anything at Entwait other than the Temple of Melkor, and I guess the bigger version is being built, so I haven't wasted a lot of resources if I do need to abruptly let it go and give it to Mordor. Something that has occurred to me, though, I believe Mordor is struggling to actually make any troops for this place because of the low level of Melkorism as well as the lack of a barracks. So before I destroy all of the buildings to then give it to them, I think I'll leave the Temple of Melkor and maybe whatever barracks building they've got here, just so that the Dark Lord can make some troops to hold the region. So hopefully that won't be necessary. I've actually got, whatever his name is, Lokhur. Yeah, I guess that's what I'll call him. Running around here placing watchtowers so that I can keep a better eye on things and not have one of my spies here just kind of on his own. Because I don't have unlimited spies. They're valuable, so I would like to be able to move this guy away and have a watchtower just watch that area instead. So Lurtz is heading back to Isengard, and he has with him the troops that I would want inside of a new army. Basically, we'll retrain them, any that need it. But I'm going to make him a new army, one that is basically like Saruman's in makeup. So the wargs, the berserkers, the orcmen units, etc., etc., rather than a replacement army of lower tier troops. So I've got the Hornburg, and I've got Isengard starting to create some of those troops. Honestly, the army in many ways is already in existence, and we're just missing just a few units. Wargs, we still need... Well, we're going to need to retrain that unit, though it's so small that it's almost like, why not train a new one? But I guess maybe I'll preserve that experience if I retrain it, or at least some of that experience. The Dunlending Long Spears... we just need that unit retrained, and then they'll be good to go. The archers just need to be retrained, and they'll be good to go. We have these Orcmen units who are already at the Hornburg. They were actually the garrison because they were getting free upkeep, so I was just using them instead of the Raider units, so we can use them. There's a Long Spear unit actually over here as well. So the army half exists already, so it's just a matter of training up the rest of those units and then getting alerts back to the front lines over here, because I assume the Filthy Elveses are going to be after us pretty soon. Which is also why we need to quickly finish off the Rohirrim, just so that we don't have to deal with them while also dealing with the elves. Oh, I should say Ugluk's got the remainder of the troops here. The remainder of, I guess, both his army and Lurtz's. That Lurtz isn't actually just taking away with him, of course. I also disbanded the ballistas because I just don't think they're going to be of much use anymore since he's not going to be besieging anyone.
Get ready for fighting.
Oh, and then there's these clan spearmen who are coming up to Roshburg as well. But anyways, what we've got now is what I hope is the end of the Rohirrim. We've got Saruman with his mostly intact army, just like a few men or orc men lost here and there, but for the most part his army is actually in quite good shape. And we have a similar situation to what we had at Roshburg, where we have this quite sizable force outside and a sizable force inside.
Was that your best shot?
Actually, I think they have more elite units Far more so than actually at Roshburg, though they did have more generals' bodyguards, which are elite units in and of themselves, so I guess there's that to consider. But I'm hoping Saruman can not only destroy them, but actually do an even better job than Ugluk did. And the reason I'm zooming in like this is I'm basically going to have Saruman go over here. And then hopefully attacking this way means he'll be attacking downhill. Or at least I'm hoping that's what that means, because I want to be the one fighting downhill at the enemy this time instead of the other way around. Let's go ahead and begin the battle here. Oh, I see. Their automatically spawning general is now the prince. And we have Garwin, who is the king. Oh, that's right. Eomer was back at Roshburg, wasn't he? And I bet you he was the king. Or, wait. Was Theodred back there? Was Theodred the king? Did we kill him previously? I actually don't remember now. I'm a little worried because actually the balance of power is actually not in our favor. It was actually slightly in our favor, I think, at Roshburg. Now it's slightly against us, which tells me something about the high quality of the troops we'll probably be fighting here. So, again, hopefully we have this really good position from which we can rain death down upon them and also slightly negate their charging uphill at us. But anyway, let's get right onto the battle and see what the field looks like. All right, welcome to the battle. So I do have it paused here for just a moment, because first off, I wanted to bask in the fact that I seem to have gotten my wish here, and we are actually fighting downhill at the enemy, which is grand. Except, I guess, maybe over here. I guess if they come over the hill here and strike down, they'll actually be attacking us downhill, but it's just a slight area there where that might not be the case. I can also see their reinforcements all the way over here. I'll have to watch the right flank quite a bit to make sure that they don't get around us or anything. I guess my troops are arranged more or less kind of, well, yeah, I guess as they normally are, with basically the spear guard from one end to the other. So from here to here is our front line. Catapults are up there too, since unlike the ballistas, they can fire kind of over the heads of guys when they're right amongst them instead of, you know, killing all the guys immediately in front of them as the ballistas would. They can be right up here and firing immediately. So that's what they're going to do. For our second line, we have two wargs over here, Saruman and the berserkers in the middle, and then the other wargs there on the right, followed by the archers behind all of them. So let's go ahead and start the battle here, and actually I'm going to put the Dunlendians in their spear wall. They did start off in their spear wall formation. However, I thought we might be able to push forward a bit, but the enemy's deployment zone did extend pretty far, basically right there, so that's what happened there. Let's have all of the archers fire on this Helminga's unit here. So actually, I should probably have at least one unit focusing on the archer cavalry on either side. Well, the shield maidens... Oh, they're actually missile cavalry too. Ah, I did not realize that. Lovely seeing the catapults fire on them. Yeah, I guess we'll have the archers fire here then too. I guess we really are just going to divide up the archers firing between different units. Ooh, the catapults are doing excellent work. Very nice. They're also being shot. That's something I just realized would be a problem with them being in the front lines like that. Oh well. It's too late to change their position now, obviously. Okay, let's get the wargs kind of over here. Again, we want them to kind of watch that flank there. I don't like the way they're looking over there. The spear guard should be able to take out those peasants quite easily. Oh, shoot. The catapult crews are getting involved in the battle. We definitely don't want that. Then why don't you guys try and pull back just a bit? Okay, you know what? We're going to bring that third warg unit kind of over here, because we kind of need them. We are leaving that flank a little bit exposed, though. Why don't we have one of the Berserker units sit over there just to... Oh, I was going to say, you've got to be kidding me. How are these units just passing through my lines? The answer is the same way they always do. Yeah, tell the archers to stop firing for now. I need to pick them some new targets, I think. Actually, yes. Fire on those Helmingas back there. Seriously? Just passing right through my units, why don't you? Okay, yeah, that flank is looking pretty secure. The long spears are holding the line, I think. Let's pull the wargs out of there, since that unit is basically obliterated.
Half the enemy force remains.
Alright, and let's grab these 3 warg units and kind of put them up on this hill here, because the enemy are still here. Very much here. Okay, let's have Saruman and his bodyguard be committed as well. We'll also use his ability once. Okay, we'll have the Berserkers intercept the scouts there, and the wargs will kind of rush in there to help them. Okay, seriously, did the Lancers just somehow pass through our lines again? Okay, we've got scouts and we've got Rohirrim on that side. They are. They're just somehow walking right through my guys here. They're definitely 2 units of mine here. They're able to just walk right through to get at my wargs. Okay, you guys go ahead and go get them. You guys get over here, chase after them, since they're able to go wherever the heck they want. How are there peasant militia here? Well, the Bane Guard unit on that side has basically been obliterated. Okay, well. Okay, seriously. Wargs, kill those guys already. Okay, Berserkers, get up here. Wargs, get up here. Get in amongst those guys and kill them. Oh, those are spearmen. No, no, turn around, turn around. That was a mistake. Archers, fire on those guys on the flank there. It looks like the spearmen kind of intercepted those guys, so that's pretty good, I guess. Okay, ballista or catapult crews, get out of there. You're just not really helping right now. And of course, more units are able to just pass through as they please. Okay, Spear Guard, turn around and face those guys. Alright, let's send the wargs in over here. You Berserkers, turn around. All right, let's try and reform these guys. Well, except for, I guess let's have them here. Berserkers, turn around, turn around, turn around. Okay, seriously, where are my wargs on this side? Okay, here they are, over here. All right, hurry up, attack them from behind. We can hopefully break them nice and quickly, though they will be able to just pass through as they please. Okay, Spear Guard, pull back here. Who are these guys? Oh, the Berserkers. Here I said I was going to be more careful with them in the future, didn't I? All right, you guys charge forward here. Okay, you spearmen, turn around and attack those guys. You guys, get in here and fight them as well. We'll try and have that unit hold the flank over there.
Only half the enemy force remains.
Okay, wargs, have you won yet? I mean, there's 10 of them, so I guess, yes, you have. All right, take up that position again. Archers, just get up here somewhere. Okay, let's push these spears out here. Basically forming a new line up here with the spear guards on the left, these spearmen in the middle, and then we'll have basically Saruman and his berserkers here on the right. So actually, I think we need to pull out that berserker unit. Get over here and attack those bodyguards. All right, let's see. We have a couple of units over here. They're unengaged. Let's have the spearmen turn around. And we'll have the Bane guards get over here and attack the spearmen from behind here. Come on, get a move on. All right, now go ahead and attack those guys. Okay, wargs, get up here and after them. Okay, Saruman, kill those guys. Okay, let's have these guys push in there to help the spear guards. Oh, you guys get over there after the bodyguard. Alright, wargs. Get after those guys. Let's get the Bane Guard and the Spear Guard up here. Well, they've lost 3 enemy generals.
Alright, you ready?
Oh, that was victory. Alright, let's see. These wargs are attacking those guys. Oh, those wargs are all the way out there. Go ahead and try and get those skirmishers. I don't think you will, but why not? Why not try? Alright, you guys get over here and start attacking these retreating infantry. Alright, well, I have to admit, I don't think that went very well. Like, not at all. For one thing, they were still able to get their units as usual, just completely around my lines, or even just through my lines, even when my guys were there to block them. Oh, I hate that so much. It's like, what's the point of having a coherent battle line if the enemy can just walk through and at any point they wish? Okay, those are cavalry. Here, go after those guys then. What are you guys doing up there? Oh, okay, that's these guys. All right, go and get those guys. Okay, you guys, I guess, go after them then. Because, like, am I crazy? Like, does it not seem like the cavalry can just pass through my lines at times, if not all the time? And then they're able to just get in amongst the archers because they just walk right through my units for some reason. And it's always the cavalry. I don't think the infantry can do that. Well, and I should say it's their cavalry who can do it. My cavalry couldn't do that. Though I think my cavalry couldn't do that because they would die, rather than because, like, they are technically, like, physically incapable of it. It's just that the enemy striking at them would kill them, whereas with, like, the general's bodyguard, they have so much freaking HP that they can just kind of walk through anywhere that they want and still live. But yeah, I think Saruman's army, unless we get, like, immense amount of healing, I almost want to send his army back, too, to get replenished. I mean, it's not as desperate or as, you know, terrible as it was with Ugluk's army, but it's still not going to be really even close to full strength at this point. Maybe I'm being pessimistic. Maybe our healing will be pretty good. Man, even with the advantage of, like, fighting downhill and everything, it seemed like we had a lot of trouble. So, of course, I guess I should also say that they had, again, some elite units in there, too, because this was the, what do you call it, script army? I was going to call it the Last Chance Army, but I called the other army that was spawned in via script the Last Chance Army. So this is like the last chance army. Let's see. Yes, the wargs. Actually, the wargs did pretty well. Surprisingly so. The berserkers did well. I mean, it looks like their units were obliterated, but that's just because there's so few of them that even tiny losses result in, you know, the units being all but wiped out. And of course, it takes forever to train berserkers too, so it's also hard to replace them, which is why I wanted them in the second line, but I don't seem to have done a very good job preserving their lives anyways. That Baneguard unit suffered huge casualties. Spearguard unit on the right flank suffered a huge number of casualties. They were, like, outflanked and fighting many units at different times, so that's not surprising. But they did absolutely slaughter the enemy. I mean, lots of our units are in the hundreds. A couple are in the 200s, and then that Spearguard unit killed 300. So it's not like they didn't kill a lot of guys. Oh boy, did they. Man. Oh, I hate cavalry so much in this mod. Or, I hate Rohirrim cavalry, I should say. Maybe when I'm dealing with the elves, well, first off, they'll probably have less cavalry, but also they won't be able to pull quite the same shenanigans as the Rohirrim do. All right, but anyway, let's take this back to the campaign map. All right, so now execute. Execute. I need to make sure... Yes, Rohan's leader is dead. I'm sure he is. I need to make sure that... Okay, yeah, it looks like we should be able to just take it without a siege. And I imagine we're just going to occupy it. Yes, I think we are. Wait, Rohan's leader is, like, extra dead? Because I got 2 messages for it. Oh, do you think that, like, the king died, you know, in one of those animations where the, you know, the army fell over and died, right? But then there was still the other army, so technically, like, the prince became king for, like, 2 seconds before his army then was also eliminated, and then he also died, and so that's why there were 2 messages like that. Alright, but anyways, the Kingdom of Rohan is finally dead, and I will not have to deal with the freaking Rohirrim anymore, and their huge armies, and their freaking cavalry, and all the other stuff about them that I hated. Now I get to deal, or, well, not right this second, but I imagine we'll be dealing with the elves pretty soon, and we get to deal with their problems instead. So, anyway, I think that's actually going to be it for now, so I will let you guys go, and I will bring you back as the war continues. All right, welcome back to the future, rather than to the war, because there's actually no more battles for the rest of the episode, but I thought I would add this little bit on the end of the current episode. simply to kind of round off the episode and give it a little preparation for next time, because there is much that needs to be discussed. First off, I'm speaking from the future in a couple of ways. First off, it's been a couple of weeks at least since I've recorded any Divide and Conquer, so this bit is very much later than the entire rest of the episode that you've seen up to this point. I don't know why I keep feeling the need to mention that, but I don't know, I guess it's interesting to me. But it's also in the future in terms of the campaign. I don't know if you've been keeping track of the turn timer here, but I want to say it's about 30 turns into the future from when the rest of this episode occurred, where basically Rohan was defeated here at Tirith Anduin. Now you may be wondering, 30-ish turns, what have you been doing? How have there been no battles? Well, there's been no battles because there's been no war. But there is now, so I feel I need to bring you guys up to speed about what has happened in these last 30 turns, and so then you can go into the next episode fully ready to go with all the information about what's happened and who we're at war with and what's going on. In fact, so much has happened, I actually have a bullet-pointed list here to remind me of everything so that I can tell you guys what has happened. So first off, let's talk about diplomacy, because we have had my diplomats running around and basically just seeking alliance with factions that you would expect us to have good relations with. So we already had alliances with the clans of Inedwaith and Mordor, but now you can see we also have the Goblins of Moria, the Haradrim tribes, the Variags, and the Easterlings. So making our mark known on the diplomatic front. I'm not sure how useful any of these alliances will be, but we've got them now. Gondor has not attacked us. In fact, they're in no position to attack us. As you can see, Mordor holds the Eastfold, and I did gift this to them, but as you can see also from the Fog of War here... Oh, one sec. Oh, okay, I did tell him to go back. But as you can see from the Fog of War here, Gondor actually briefly took the settlement, and then Mordor had to take it back. Not that Mordor had much trouble doing this, because Mordor has taken Anorion, it has taken Caer Andros, it has taken Osgiliath, it has taken the White City, and they have marched down here into... what is this? Karasat. Karasast. Now I like Karasast better. I don't know how it's properly pronounced, and I don't care. So anyway, they've gotten this far, and they defeated a bunch of Gondorian forces that were around here. I've got my spy down here just keeping an eye on affairs as they occur. But anyway, the point is that Mordor is pushing heavily into Gondorian territory and has really dropped the hurt on them. And so they're in no position really to attack me. In fact, they don't even really... yeah, in fact, they don't border me at all anymore. So I doubt attacking me was ever on the mind anyways. So, hooray, hooray. Now, of less good news is Dol Guldur, the faction, was destroyed. The Elves of Lothlorien have actually done some pushing of their own. They've taken this territory here. They've actually pushed through the Brownlands, through the Emyn Wheel. And actually, that's as far south as it looks like they've come. Oh, wait. That Daggerlad? Okay, that's still under control of Mordor. But as you can see, they've got troops around here, and they've got more troops coming down here, and I've got a spy over here just, again, sort of keeping an eye on what they're doing, which is particularly important because, as you can see, we are now at war with them, but we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. Not right now. Let's talk about our own territory here. First off, watchtowers have been placed everywhere so that we can see all of our territory at all times. In fact, that's actually why this general here, Yaghur, is standing here. He actually just placed that watchtower, and he's actually the governor of Edoras, so he's going to go back there soon. We've also spent these 30-ish turns really building up our settlements. We have lots of money, lots of settlements with the ability to train up lots of interesting troops, or more elite troops, I guess I should say. In fact, in many cases, I've actually upgraded some of the garrisons. So if you look at Edoras, for example, they actually have Orcmen units guarding the place instead of the Raider or Reaver units. The same is true of Gienard, the Hornburg, and I want to say Durwath, yes, as well, okay. I've even thrown some of these Orkman units in this fort here, and in this fort here by Edoras. Now, part of the reason is simply because, well, since I can have free upkeep on them, I might as well have more elite units. And I did have the money to train them up, so why not? But it's also part of, like, what should we call it, a backup plan, maybe? There's a war up north that we're going to talk about here soon, and basically, by having these troops already trained up, I think I can very easily just send them north to go and replace casualties that we will be inevitably taking in that conflict. And it's just nice having them already trained up and ready to go. And of course, we can then very quickly replace them with, you know, like raider units to keep the peace, or, you know, just more Orkmen units since we have them available too. And yes, we are training up higher level Uruk-hai units, but we're not really ready for an army of them yet. Basically, I've started on one of those higher tier armies here in Isengard, and some of the other settlements like the Hornburg will very soon be able to train them up, and Edoras can train them, and I think Durwath can train them as well. Okay, no, they can get the crossbowmen, but I think we'll be getting Uruk-hai units here as well soon. But anyway, the point is that I'm training up this new army here at Isengard. And again, I don't think we're ready financially to support such an expensive army and still be able to continue our build up. So what I'm doing is I'm just training them up and having them sit in Isengard, and I'll use these forts here too to just use their free upkeep to basically hold the army here until we're ready to unleash it. And then we don't have to wait until, you know, we don't have to spend all the time building up the army. We'll already have it, so it's just a question of waiting for it to be unleashed. And of course, if the war goes terribly up there in the north, and we lose, you know, a couple of armies, then this one expensive army could also be sent up there to replace them. Though again, I'm not hoping, or I am hoping that that won't be necessary. Another thing that you may have noticed as I keep waving the camera around the map here is that we've actually reclaimed Fanghorn Camp from the clans of Enedwaith. Now, we are still allies with them, so it was not taken by force. It was taken by diplomacy, the same way we lost it. Basically, I just thought it would be a good idea to have this back, since it's not connected to the rest of the clans of Enedwaith's territory. It's connected to mine. It just seemed like a better idea for me to hold on to it, since I was going to be going to war with the Elves of Lothlorien anyways. And so I just, basically, I had the money, so I decided to buy it off of them. I don't even think it was that expensive, though I do not recall what it cost me. Speaking of my income, I guess it's worth pointing out that I want to say, I guess without construction or recruitment, which is kind of like a per turn basis, I want to say I get around 8,000, 8 to 9,000, I think, a turn. So that's why I've been able to build things up. My income is actually really good now, partially because I've been reinvesting that income, but also because I actually held one of my current 2 armies here in Isengard and in these forts here, basically free upkeep, just so that they wouldn't cost me any money either, and so that was actually helping our income for those 30 turns as well. Alright, so now it is time to talk about the war in the north, because I have actually declared war on the Elves of Lothlorien. Hopefully their armies are a little occupied down here with Mordor, and so we'll be able to destroy them somewhat. I mean, they do still have considerable forces up here, so it's not like we're not going to do any fighting. We are definitely, absolutely going to do fighting. Essentially, I have 3 armies, but only really 2 of them are intended to actually attack settlements. One is under Lurtz here, and it's essentially the army he's always had, except, of course, it's been replenished. As you can see, every single unit is up to full strength. And he has besieged Edrekarn. This place. He's besieged this place. And actually, it was his besieging this place that started the war. Basically, we have Lord Celeborn here and some elven units. And I imagine he will also get some of the free, what do you call them? The garrison units, the ones that spawn from buildings. I imagine he'll have at least a couple of those here as well. So we're going to attack there, and then we've got Saruman up here. who has an identical army to Lurtz's. So Orcmen and Dunlending long spears and such. Now, his army was also the one that I was holding in Isengard, basically to get free upkeep. So, yeah. Basically, he has an identical army, and he's currently besieging Lim here. And actually, he did it basically the same turn as Lurtz. In fact, that was this turn, because I'm actually not going to build up any equipment for either of these places. I am just going to immediately attack. Hopefully, we're able to smash these smaller garrisons. Though these are elven units, and I have looked at their stats, and I am a little like, oh no, the horror, the sheer horror. And that's why I mentioned earlier having these garrisons of Orcmen units that could quickly be sent north if need be. Or actually, I should say, because they will be needed, and then we can train replacements in these settlements, because they'll have like a couple of slots still available for the Orcmen units, as you can see. One thing that I didn't mention this, is I'm actually using extra Spear Guard units in both of these armies instead of Berserkers. You may recall, I would typically only have like a pair of each of these units. So there would be a pair of Bane Guards, a pair of Spear Guards, and then there would be a pair of Berserkers. But I've sort of soured on that unit a little bit. I don't think it's like a horrifically bad unit, but I don't think it's a terribly good unit either. And I just think having either a unit of Spear Guard or a unit of Bane Guard is just generally better. I think I thought that they were pretty good before, just because Lurtz's bodyguard and Ugluk's bodyguard are Berserkers, and they can do a lot of damage, but they die pretty easily. So if they're part of a general's bodyguard, that's not necessarily a problem because they'll replenish, but with the Berserkers, like the regular Berserker units, they do seem to die rather quickly. I may change my mind in the future, because another problem with the Berserkers was just how long it took to actually recruit them, because the unit pools can only have one Berserker, and then if you try to train one, it's 16 turns before the next one is available. And so that was really slow process trying to get more Berserkers. Now, with that being said, I do have more settlements now, like Durwath and Hornburg, and I bet you Edoras. Yeah, you see, we can train Berserkers in a lot more places now, so it might be more worth it to get Berserkers in the future. But at least for now, I was switching them out with just Spear Guard. Now, the third army, and the one that's not really doing any fighting, any attacking here, is Ugluk. And I think just looking at his army, you can see why. Basically, I wanted to make sure that Saruman and Lurtz could just kind of immediately move out once they've taken settlements. And so I wanted a bunch of like really cheap, like garrison-style troops here. So we've got clan spearmen, and we have these goblin infantry who are mercenaries that can be recruited at Isengard. I think I've mentioned them in the past. Oh, there's only one available now. That's unfortunate. All right, but anyway, that's where they came from. And again, pretty cheap units, at least in comparison to some of our other units. They only require upkeep of 160. So we can just dump them in a settlement and get Saruman and Lurtz kind of moving on their way. Also, as we take casualties, we can use these units to fill the army. Now, they're not particularly good units, but at the same time, like, they can be sort of like a cannon fodder unit, like taking casualties that perhaps our better units would have taken had they not been there. We also do have some replacements for existing units. I'm expecting lots of casualties among the Dunlending long spears, as I usually am quite fond of putting them in the heaviest fighting. So we do have some replacements there, and then we also have just a single unit of wargs, which is probably not going to be enough to replace all of the warg casualties we'll suffer, but oh well. Well, one step at a time, I guess. So, anyway, it looks like that is actually it now. I guess really quickly, just here's some more elven units, elven armies, and there's Haldir. Haldir the Fearless. So there are still plenty of enemy forces here in the region, but hopefully we can just take these two settlements quite easily, and then maybe, hopefully, kill off these elven units, hopefully quickly. What I'm hoping the way these battles work is that the elves don't necessarily have a lot of troops. So maybe I can have like my units like engaging them from the front, basically holding them in position while like the wargs and stuff attack them from behind. And before, you know, they chop their way through my infantry line. That's kind of what I'm hoping for at the moment. Because I've looked at some of their stats, and they either range from like equal or close to the Orcmen to, you know, units like the Galadrim Archers, which we can't see right now, but I assure you their stats are high. I even think, yeah, can't be broken. Can't be broken. So these guys will not retreat. They must be killed to the very last elf. Oh, that's going to be awful. Oh, it's going to be so awful. So anyway, that's where we're going to pick up next time. And I think you guys should be fully up to speed now what has happened in these last 30 or so turns, so that we're not totally confused about what's going on. Basically, we'll have the battle of this place and the battle of Lim here. They'll probably both make it into the next episode, unless maybe one of them's absurdly long, but I imagine both will be in the next episode. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.